been reporting on style and fashion for over a decade now. My life is an endless catwalk of forward-thinking design. But what I found more intriguing than the creations themselves are the creators. By talking and getting to know Montreal designers, I've become familiar with a kind of duality they all seem to have in common. That is the fantasy of the runway versus the reality of their everyday lives. The following set of interviews is an ode to Anastasia Lomonova, Jocelyn Picard, Simon Bélanger, José Manuel St-Jacques, all of whom sacrifice in their own ways for the sake of art, beauty, and fashion.
We cut everything. We just cut into everything, you know? Food, rent, outings, clothing, our own clothing. We're ready to do a lot to have a good show or to have a good collection.
So tell me guys, what is a typical day in the Untitled life?
Okay, well, let's say today. We got up, we went to the gym, then come to the studio, and then work.
More often than not, we work 7 days a week. Now, the closer you get to a show, the more it becomes 7 days a week. I can never learn enough. I can never do enough. Like there's always, and then since it changes every 3 to 6 months, you know, you never can sit down and say, I've got it, you know, no one can. So it's, for someone who gets bored very easily, it's the best industry to be in because there's always new people to meet, always new things to see, and it like, you're bombarded. I know to a lot of people that is unhealthy, but in my perspective, it's fantastic because that's what I need, you know?
So how do you separate the work? Or do you separate the work?
The rule is, if you start it, you need to finish it. Sometimes I do the taxes, sometimes he does the taxes. And then it's one each other, because that's the boring stuff. But
all the fun stuff we share.
This is what people see. They see your beautiful, expensive clothes in the store. They see your clothes in magazines. So do you think there is a disconnect between the reality of what you do and what they see?
Of course, but I mean, that's what fashion is. It's the dream, you know? I mean, what we sell is dream. That's the fun part of it, making the image. You know, we don't save lives, that's for sure. We make clothes. That's what we live for. After the reality, to me, we live our own reality. I mean, for sure, we spend most of our time here. Maybe we don't, you know, we don't have money to do anything else, and we're kind of broke or whatever. But at the same time, I don't really care.
No,
about
that's the thing.
You know, because yeah, reality is boring.
Right now, we do not have a home.
We just decided that home was luxury, and we decided to keep really the studio. And look at the studio, isn't it beautiful? We need this.
Yeah.
We don't really need a house.
We decided that our apartment in the Myland is like something we can do without. So we've cut it and we rented it to somebody else. Obviously, in the future, we'd like to have like a nice little apartment, you know? But it's not pathetic. It's just, it's normal. To us, it's normal.
The advice I would give to young designers that want to start up their own thing is do it. I mean, more and more, I feel there is a lot of interest on fashion here in Montreal, and there is something new going on, really fresh and exciting.
Most important thing is to be
nice.
Nice, very nice. There's no diva, you know. If we want to can another misconception about designers, people that do work and people that are amazing designers that have amazing businesses, they're the nicest people on earth. Photographers, stylists, the people that work in fashion and that are excellent, they're the most generous and the nicest people on earth. The misconception about divas and bitches and all of that is mostly people that would like to be part of the fashion industry and that are frustrated.
I guess the best thing I've ever did for my career was meeting Simon. That sounds really tacky but no one's gonna cry. But really I think so because he really pushes me beyond what I even thought before meeting him that I would be able to do. I'm 25 and I'm like, at the head of a business making my own life and everything.
That's all I do. I work at the studio and I show, that's it. There'll be 1 or 2 months in the year where I can be a bit more sociable when I'm not, super stressed, but that's 2 months out of 12. I was born in Odessa, Ukraine. I lived there till I was about 7. And then moved to Canada when I was 17.
And then, how did you become a designer?
I went to school for it for 2 years at Ryerson in Toronto, and then I dropped out of the program and moved here.
Why did you drop out?
I wanted to do it for real, finally, and I really liked Montreal. I never really fit into the Toronto scene that well, so I found an internship with Valérie Dumaine, so I did that for a couple of months. Then I started my own line.
When did you decide, I want to be a fashion designer?
I think when I started my own line, actually. I think that's when I made that's when I made the final decision. And when I started my own line, I felt like, that's it, this is all I want to do. I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything else anymore.
So why do you like working with pleats?
I like to work with pleats because you have the ability to transform a very simple fabric into something, into whatever you want, really. Pleats have so much texture and so much depth, and you can drape and manipulate them in so many different ways. It's an endless source of inspiration.
Can you tell me a little bit about your challenges being a fashion designer?
Well, there have been many. When you're starting and you're starting very young, one of the challenges I found was really finding my own style. What describes you? It's kind of like someone coming up to you and being like, okay, tell me everything about yourself in 5 minutes. So you can't, that took a couple of years to perfect itself, That was one of the challenges. Financing is always a challenge. I think most young designers would agree with me on this.
What are the misconceptions that you think that people have about being you?
The first misconception is, that being a designer is so glamorous and so easy and all you ever do is design. In reality, designing is such a small part of the job. People often see designers as like the sugar daddy of the industry because it often feels that it's not that it feels that that's how it is, that we're expected to pay for everything, but our only revenue really is sales, which aren't really enough to cover all the expenses that people expect us to cover. So in doing a show, there's, besides just a simple runway fee, there's also the models, the stylists, the PR, the accessories and all this other stuff that you have to cover that's coming out of your budget that's not necessarily factored into the cost of the garment.
So how much of a shock was that, or was it a shock, to be a designer, to realize I need to have a business sense?
Well, it's not really a shock. It's something that comes very gradually. So what I find difficult is being both people at the same time. I feel that if you are both people at the same time, you're either at some point a stronger business person and at another point a stronger designer.
Have you made any sacrifices to be a fashion designer?
I've sacrificed everything to be a fashion designer. I mean, if I'm working on a show or if we're in the season, this is all I do. Because I mean, at the end of the day, as an artist, the only way that you are an artist is if you show your work. It's a socially involved medium. Because, you know, if you're an artist and you don't show your work, it's like writing in a diary and calling yourself an author. I love it. So, you know, for me, I'm not going to give it up just if something doesn't work out like that. I'm going to continue and I'm going to push forward because it's my thing. Like, there's no separation between who I am and what I do.
It's a job. It's not just fun and games. Like at first I was really excited and I'm still very excited, but I mean, you realize how much work it is. Like you really need to invest yourself and decide that this is what you really want to do.
So what, Jocelyn, do you believe are some misconceptions about being a designer?
I think the biggest one is that designers actually just design and that's it, you know. They just create clothes and put them on catwalks and that's it, and make tons of money. It seems very, very simple. I think I thought like that as well before. When I go to a fashion show, I was like, oh wow, this guy designed this and put it on a catwalk and he's gonna make money. Like, it's not just about that. There's a whole lot more. That at first you think, oh, it's gonna be fun, I'm gonna crochet and just make stuff. But there's all this business that comes around it if you want to be organized and make money, which in the end you do have to make, whether you like it or not, because you're going to want to buy better materials every time and renew yourself and buy something better and better. So you do need that money in the end to buy those next materials that will keep on raising that bar. Well, I just used to, as a teen, listen to tons and tons and tons of music, and I still do. And I would just sit in my room and listen to music on end, for hours on end, and my mom hated it because she just felt I wasn't doing anything, I was just wasting my life away listening to music. So I asked her to show me how to crochet one time, which is very time consuming. So that, put with music, gave me a very good excuse to sit around and do nothing, and just crochet for hours on end. It's like knitting, but you're just using one hook and then you're just making loops and you're always going back and forth, back and forth. Not necessarily back and forth, but you're always going in a line. I'm not working straight up, I'm working in a line.
What is a typical day in your life, Jocelyn?
Okay, second I wake up in the morning, I just wake up, get my stuff together, jump on a Bixie, go down the canal. Sounds pretty nice so far. And get to work and I open the restaurant. I'm alone at the restaurant for a good hour from 7 till 8. I work there all day till 2:30. And if I don't have any errands, I'm gonna just run home and start crocheting at home. I'm working on an installation I want to present during this next spring summer fashion week in September in Montreal. I'm elaborating this kind of collection here, going a little bit further with the...
Show me that, what is that?
It's a plumbing tube that would be used for, yeah, for plumbing. It's plastic, it's really heavy. It's, I guess a step further from the cocoons that I made in the last collection, but it's just pieces that just can't be worn. But I just want to show off basically what I can make with different materials that are very, very hard to work with. I would love to find somebody else who can help me crochet, but at the same time I like that power of being able to make everything on my own. The first collection, I insisted on doing the whole thing on my own. I wanted to make a smaller show. I made 12 looks.
and made it all by myself. And the last week, I was running out of time, and I was crocheting till the models needed to be dressed backstage. I'm not kidding. Everyone was like, dress your models. And I was like, hang on, I'm almost done. And I was still crocheting, and I did the whole thing on my own. So yeah, I definitely need help, but it's empowering to know that you were able to create a whole collection on your own. Well, what I'm hoping, I don't know exactly where I see it, what I'm hoping with the work I'm doing now, I do want to leave with Andrew to London in September. If I can find a few stores where I could sell in London, that would be amazing. I would love to, even living here, I would love to live here and create pieces that I could sell in stores that are selling in London, or if I can be properly established in London, live in London with Andrew a few years. But I would love to be able to sell through the British market, because it's a very good way to make some money. And I think that the people there will appreciate the style that I'm creating. In 10 years, I want to have an exhibit in an art gallery. And not just of pieces that you can't wear, but of pieces that have been worn and that people just can't get over. Yeah, that would be good in 10 years.